Hey everyone, it's Mark Schultz here, founder of DigitalAircraft. And I'm here today with an interesting Friday session where I have a topic that's really super interesting to me. And it's basically digital and aviation. But specifically, we're going to be looking at advanced technology today. I have a guest with me who's with a company called Uncrewed. And it's a division of Airbus, which is focusing on technology and innovation, supporting of aerospace. Stick with me here. You're not going to want to miss this. My guest that's with us today, let me go ahead and just bring him right in. It's Scott Campbell.
Hey, how you doing?
Scott, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Very good. Hey, Scott, thanks for joining me today. In our discussion sessions in advance of doing the live interview today here, I found out that Scott is really excited about aviation and digital. And so we immediately formed a common bond. And I thank you for that participation in the industry. Can you tell everybody just who you are and what do you do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Scott Campbell. I'm a a project executive at Uncrewed, which is an Airbus innovation center. The focus of what I do is on uncrewed traffic management, and what that is that's really building digital solutions to enable the integration of new types of aircraft in a very safe, efficient, fair, and kind of flexible way.
Very good. You know, Scott, this summer I had a number of guests on my broadcast that I did who are also from the UTM, the Uncrewed Traffic Management space. And they told me that we're looking at a very significant growth in traffic, you know, in the near future, probably as much as 10x growth in traffic. And the traffic systems out there are going to have a really difficult time in handling that unless we create, you know, innovative solutions and ideas to be able to handle that. Is that also your understanding?
Yeah, 100%. You know, the biggest thing in thinking through the future is if the traffic levels get to anywhere close to where people say they're going to be, there's going to be a need for other systems to come in and at a minimum supplement what the current system is doing. And so that's really kind of where we see a lot of the value of UTM is really supporting the scalable growth of all the air traffic.
Perfect. Scaling and safety always. I mean, we don't even talk about safety because it's an assumption, but we should, I guess, you know, in order to be able to maintain safety and continue to scale, you know, we have to really do that. Hey, Scott, people are always interested in knowing about someone's background and sort of their journey and how they got where they are. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? You know, what's your background and how did you get to what you're doing, you know, currently at Uncrewed?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, you know, as a kid, I've always loved aviation. I studied aerospace engineering in school and also went and got all my pilot certificates and thought I might want to be a pilot, but chose to go the engineering route. That led me a couple places, one to Boeing for a couple years, and then off to grad school, where I really, in grad school, really got an appreciation of how, you know, modern digital, you know, either control theory or optimization theory can be used to make the air traffic management system more efficient. So grad school, what that did is that motivated me to go out and do cool things in industry. So I worked at MIT for a bit doing research on air traffic management for the FAA. When UTM started becoming a thing in 2015, 2016, I saw it as this awesome new almost sandbox that you could jump into to really invent the future. So from there, I helped start a UTM company called Aeros out of GE. Spent a couple years there, and then went to Airbus doing very similar stuff. So very excited about it still.
What a great background. You know, it really is. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, let me just take a quick break here. I want to acknowledge people that are out watching today. I know we always have a lot of viewers, you know, that follow what we do. And I always like to ask people is that if you'll just drop a comment in the box down below, somewhere on your screen where you're watching, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter, there is a box. And we always like to know who's watching. If you just tell us where you're watching from, it's always interesting. We'll give you a shout out. And if you'd help us out and share this live stream, that always really helps get the message out. I'm passionate about digital and aviation. And one of the ways that we've been able to continue to build this community is for us to work together to share it and to share the knowledge, you know, that surrounds it. So thanks very much. Hey, listen, Scott, let's talk a little bit about Uncrewed. I'm very intrigued about the company itself. You know, can we talk a little bit about the things that they're involved in? We just got a couple of slides here that I'd like to show. And maybe you could just make a comment about each of them and just tell us sort of, what they're involved in, and what do you mean when you're involved in digital and innovation in these specific areas. Maybe the first one here, let's just throw that up. And it's on-demand air travel. What is that all about?
Well, yeah. So on-demand air travel, this is, I think, one of the underpinnings of what urban air mobility is intended to be, and a lot of what my project is trying to support. And so when we think of on-demand air travel, it is not necessarily a completely different way of doing air transportation now. There is on-demand air transportation now, but it's how do you do it in a way that can support thousands upon thousands of operations at once.
Well, certainly all of us dream about on-demand air travel and being able to either go out and get in your own vehicle or be able to call one up on your app, and be able to have it show up and just go somewhere. So I know that's a very interesting topic to most people.
For sure.
So let's go to the next one if we could. So the next one here we have is autonomous flight. And so I see we have a digital representation of a approach. What is autonomous flight all about to A-Cubed?
Well, yeah, there's a project at A-Cubed called Wayfinder that is really focused on building, some of the fundamental technologies that are going to enable increasing autonomous operations in the future. Some of it here is looking at vision-based landing, and really exciting project. If people are interested, I encourage you to go to our website and learn more.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff there. That's where I got some of these pictures from. Let's go to the next one as well. So unmanned traffic management. And, for people that have been watching my series of broadcasts, we've talked about this a couple of times, but what does that mean to A-Cubed, unmanned traffic management?
Well, yeah, so this is the project that I lead, and it's the one that I'm by far the most familiar with. And it's it's taking, and really one of the value propositions that we have at A-Cubed is that we are in Silicon Valley, really the home of a lot of digital companies, and have a lot of digital experience on my team that we've brought in from that ecosystem. And our goal with this is to leverage all of the great people that we have on my team, apply them to a more traditional aerospace problem, and the results are fantastic.
Yeah, Scott, I mentioned a couple of times to people over the summer that, many of us saw the congestion that we had in different, airports and things. And we even saw, London Heathrow, call to the airlines and say, stop, you can't send any more. You can't increase your arrivals and departures. We have to slow things down. We can't keep up. And so I know that applying digital to this challenge is going to be something that's going to give us operational efficiency, in the industry. And so I'm really excited about what you guys are doing in this space.
Awesome.
So let's go to the next one. I see you guys are also involved in digital design for manufacturing. And what does that really mean from your perspective?
Well, it's something that the manufacturing and I guess building of commercial aircraft is something that's been going on for a long time, right? And as we have more digital capabilities to model and design how those airplanes are built, we can do them more efficiently, we can do them cheaper, but really, at the same level of quality. And so, again, this is another project at A-Cubed. If people are interested, again, I encourage you to go into the website and checking out more.
Yeah, we started, well, I guess we didn't start, but, one of the early efforts, of course, was to do digital design, CAD design of aircraft. And then, we began to do additional things like facilities, digital design of facilities. And then we started creating things like digital twins and representations to be able to help us create operational efficiency, both in operations and in manufacturing. And so I can see where this is also going to be a really valuable, component or project that you guys are focusing on. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so we have building the future of flight. And so does that tie back into the UTM, or how does that fit in?
In many ways, it ties back into all of them. And that, with A-Cubed, we're an innovation center. We're really trying to, again, leverage the digital expertise that is in Silicon Valley, including AI, machine learning expertise, where our goal is to help Airbus build the future of flight. And that's it's not related to any specific project. I think it's just underlying everything that we do.
Perfect. I think we just have one or two more, and then we're going to have some conversation about some of these. There we go. We have the remote airborne sensing. So how does that fit into the whole picture?
Well, this one is, even kind of thinking of UTM, and and drone operations, operating in areas that traditional aircraft don't typically operate. One of the things that really needs to be done is understanding where they're flying, what is the terrain, what are the obstacles, and so that's really an enabler to having a safe UTM type system.
So it's not, I'm looking at what I thought was maybe a weather balloon. We're not talking about weather. We're talking about sensing of airborne, like traffic and movement and things like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Very good. Well, hey, listen, we're going to dig into a couple of these things in detail, but in the meantime, I see we have a bunch of people that are watching, and I always like to acknowledge people that are out there. Maybe we could just put a few of them up on the screen. I'll just give them a shout out. I really appreciate the community that we have and people following, and we have Max Quinteros here from San Diego. Max, I've seen you on the broadcast before. Thanks for joining. And then sometimes the names don't come through. We have one here that says, LinkedIn user, but it's Scott watching from London. Scott, thanks for joining. We appreciate that coming to us from the UK. We have Remy joining us from the Netherlands. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Hey, Scott, isn't it fun that we can reach people all around the world, when we do broadcasts like this? It's amazing that we can connect people.
Yeah, it really is. It's fun to see everybody.
We have Jerome, and I'm sorry, Jerome, I can't pronounce your last name, but Jerome, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you being here. Hey, thanks everybody for watching and the community that follows. I really strive to bring interesting content and guests, onto the broadcast so that we can share with you knowledge and insight in the industry to help us to be able to grow and to do better and to do a better job at the things we do. So listen, Scott, let's talk about the industry just a little bit. With the growth of UAM, what are the really challenges that the industry faces with respect to, UTM today? What are the things which are giving us difficulty in being able to be successful in this area?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good question. I think there are a couple things. I mean, first is that, most of the technology I think exists. It's a lot of what we're trying to do with the technology is enable a very wide spectrum of types of operations in aircraft. That is, again, it is slightly different than what's done today. When you have your traditional air traffic control system, you have a lot of the same type of aircraft going the same type of speed, doing the same type of mission. Very different in UTM. And so a lot of what we're doing from a technology standpoint is to enable that. I think when you think of, what are the barriers or what are the challenges, I think that, as UTM unfolds over the globe, different places are moving at different speeds. I think that having UTM implementations that are harmonized and are following similar standards is going to be very important in order for the systems and the business models to scale, to enable operations to span borders, for example. It's going to be very important for the digital systems that are kind of underlying this new way of doing traffic management to exchange data in the same ways, so that there's common situational awareness across boundaries, across jurisdictions. And that's being done, really as we speak. We're very actively involved in standards bodies, both in the US and in Europe. And a primary focus is to harmonize globally. But at the speed of the the implementation of UTM is largely driven by the markets, and markets evolve in different rates, right? And so that's going to be a challenge, just to make sure that as UTM is rolled out, it's done in a way that is future-proofed, so that when we do have that scale of operation that really needs very seamless coordination between the different types of UTM systems around the world, that it's done so in a way that we don't have to go back and redo anything.
Yeah, Scott, as I look at some of the challenges that we have, I look at, we have the challenges that have to do with safe manufacturing of equipment and of vehicles, and then we have challenges that exist around the safe, operation of equipment, within the airspace system. And so if I focused on the latter, which is, safe operation, and some of the things that you're doing by looking at traffic management, what would you consider to be maybe the key things that you're looking at to ensure, safety and scalability within that component of the industry?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question, actually. So, at the heart of what we do is safety. We we have a very safe airspace right now. We don't necessarily, want at all to have new entrants enter the airspace and make that airspace less safe. And so what we're doing to get there is I mentioned the standards work. And a lot of what that work is intended to do is to align across the globe what the UTM implementations are, set requirements, set target level of safety. What we are doing on my team specifically to help that is, especially at an early stage, we're leveraging a lot of simulation and digital twin capability to understand and quantify the safety implications of different, even early design decisions. We just recently, this past summer actually, signed a memorandum of collaboration with Eurocontrol to work on use-based simulation, where a primary goal of that is operationalizing UTM or use-based in Europe, and doing it in a way that we can use simulation to help generate the right amount of data initially to help outline what safety is, and then have that motivate flight trials and flight testing to really complete all that safety work.
Okay, so not only identifying what the requirements are, but also doing simulations and testing, to ensure that we have smooth operations, is what you're really saying.
Exactly. Yes.
Very good. I don't remember the exact number, but I was on a very interesting webinar this week that Eurocontrol held, and they were talking about the things that need to be done within the industry to be able to increase efficiency. And certainly they were talking about one of the things that they needed to do was have perfect flights. And I use the word perfect flight, but to be able to execute more successfully and smoothly on the movement of aircraft from one place to another. And so as we increase the volume of vehicles in the sky, uncrewed or not, we're going to have to continue to look at efficiency. And so, man, what you guys are doing is just really an important part of the growth and the scaling of our industry today. Sounds really interesting. Yeah. Hey, Scott, let me see. Let's see. We have a few more people that have been checking in, but if anybody has any questions out there, feel free to ask questions, and we'll be happy to take them online. Out there. Hey, I also understand that you're going to be a speaker at a panel, coming up, and across the bottom of the banner, we had a little information about Aerospace Tech Week, which is coming up in Atlanta on November 8th and 9th. And I understand that you're going to be a speaker on a panel, which is going to focus on uncrewed aerial systems and urban air mobility, I think is the title of it. Can you tell us what's the focus of this discussion and what it's all about?
Well, yeah, I mean, the focus of the discussion is really centered on, what I would call kind of enabling technologies for urban air mobility. So air taxis, with me specifically, and what I'll be speaking about, and what I'm really excited to tell everybody about, is a lot of the digital supporting infrastructure that we see necessary to support the scalable growth of urban air mobility. In many ways, urban air mobility might exist now through just normal helicopter operations. But as the number of those operations increase, there's going to be a higher reliance on technology to come in and support it. And so that's going to be the primary focus of my talk, is really just kind of outlining what we think is necessary in the ecosystem.
Yeah, I really like when you use the word enabling technologies, because as we take a look at the different technologies that present themselves to us, that it's important for us to understand those in order that we can consider them for use in creating new capabilities or scaling or additional safety. And so I'm always promoting to people, it's important that we understand these things, even to the level of that we can ask the right questions. We don't have to be the guy, who went to MIT or has a PhD in it, Scott. I leave that up to the guys like you that have studied that in depth, and then, can be advisors and consultants to us. And so one of the reasons I'm excited about going to Aerospace Tech Week is to be able to hear from people like yourself who are working on some of these advanced technologies and what you're doing to be able to create enabling capabilities within the industry to help us to grow and to really be successful. That's really great. And Scott, are you going to be there for the entire conference or just for the panel, or what's your attendance plan there?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a great show. So I'm intending to go for a lot of it. It's actually a conference that I haven't been to before. And so I'm really looking forward to meeting new people and seeing what they have to offer.
Yeah, good. Aerospace Tech Week is really making a big push on this right now because this is actually their first event in Americas. They've been doing events for many, many years in Europe, and this is their first one in Americas. And as such, I have partnered with them to help be able to get the message out because just like Scott, you and I have common interests in aviation and digital. Aerospace Tech Week, they have a passion for flight operations IT and for maintenance IT and for air operations management and all these things. And so between the aviation and digital aspect of it, I'm very excited about, the upcoming event. There's going to be a lot of really interesting speakers there. And actually, I'm going to be speaking there as well. And so I have a slot where I'll be talking about some advanced technologies as well within aviation. And so it's really going to be a good event. But let's go ahead and put that URL back up there for a minute. If you want to register for this event, I told you that we have partnered with Aerospace Tech Week. And one of the things that we've done is we've gotten them to actually give people a discount if you're watching this broadcast, okay? And so let's put the discount code up there if we could. When you go to register, if you put a discount code in of DA90, that stands for Digital Aircraft 90, you actually get 90% off the event registration. And so if you're going to come, I think the registration is about $800 or $900 or something like that to attend the event. And if you put in this discount code, you will actually get 90% off. And I'm very excited that they were allowing us to be able to help the industry and to provide this kind of a discount to be involved. So let's put the URL back up there again. So you go to this location here, aerospace-tech-week.com, America's register. And when it asks for a discount code, put in DA90 and you'll get 90% off. Scott, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you coming and talking about what you do. And I am definitely going to be there at your panel. I want to hear about this. Digital and the things that people are doing in the industry is just exciting to me. It gets me excited to know how we're creating digital and implementing digital and creating efficiencies in the industry.
Yeah, my pleasure. Excited to meet you there.
Yeah, very good. So listen, I want to invite you to this panel that Scott is doing. And the panel is November 8th. It's on day 1 at 2:00, so 1400. And I want to invite you to come to this event. You can register below and use that code DA90. Great. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And Scott, thank you for coming and being on the broadcast. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you in Atlanta.
Awesome. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Have a great day and fair winds and following seas as I always sign off. And we will see you on our next broadcast. Bye for now.